Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. It's me, Digi. We are in Flight Sim 2024 and we are going to do a 1X flight into Frankfurt. We are departing Corfu in Greece and we're going to fly up to Germany this afternoon. Welcome aboard. We're going to be orbit flight 197 with service to Frankfurt. We are not going to be on an air traffic controlled network. I'm just going to be taking it nice and easy tonight and just chilling and sharing time with anybody that decides to stop by and hang out, or everybody that's just lurking in the background. Feel free to lurk away. Appreciate having you here with us. So again, we're going to be taking the controls of the Airbus A320neo. This is going to be the any builds version that we have in FS 2024, which they've graciously provided for free for our use. I'm a fan. You could say a turbo fan. Get it? Ha! Dad jokes. Lyles, welcome aboard, my friend. We're getting set. We still got plenty of seats in first class and coach, so feel free to grab a spot. Let's get this plane started up, and we'll get on our way. So we've got external power. Let's go ahead and start loading it up. And it's kind of quiet, not too quiet, but you should be able to hear me above the din. Let me know if it gets too loud. We'll get the batteries turned on and we'll get the ADIRS going. Nav is up. Let's see. And I look up. No. It's one of those weird planes where it's like it's not going to let me do that normally, but that's fine. I'm going to pretend that we've gotten our passengers and our cargo loaded. Just checking the fire tests. APU. And engine 2 fire test. Okay, fire test is good. Let's go ahead and check annunciator lights. We're looking good so far. I think we're going to be okay. All the lights coming on. Not overthinking it too much, just going to go ahead and call that good. And we will arm the emergency lights now. Let's double check a few things. Okay. Seatbelt sign still on. No smoking or electronic devices. Warning to on. Nav logo lights position 1. And I think we can start planning our trip. So let's look down here at the flight details. We'll call up SimBrief and we're going to be going to Frankfurt. And we've got the weather, ground services, GPU is running at the moment. I'll get rid of it shortly after we get the APU started. I'm going to import our payload from SimBrief. Same thing with the fuel, hopefully. And load is instant. No. Where is the fuel? Oh, we've got the fuel loaded. So 7.5 thousand kilos for the trip. And OFP should be here. Yes, we're leaving Ioannis Capodistrias and we're going to be going to Frankfurt. I believe Frankfurt is also has a separate name. I think it's service. I don't know. I don't know. If Cargo Fire were here, he'd probably let me know that immediately. We do have some fuel for the trip. We have 7.5 right now. Takeoff fuel 7 point, a little less than 7.3. And the actual fuel required for the trip is 4.7. So we've got plenty of margin. Let's go ahead and get on with loading this up. So why am I not able to move my screen some more? I don't know. I can do it here, so that's good. Nothing for weight and balance. Excuse me, my voice is cracking. Nothing for weight and balance on that screen, so I guess we'll do init request. We'll get the flight plan in. IRSs are aligning, and I think we're good for the IRS. I need to get the zero fuel weight and zero fuel weight CG, and block fuel is going to be 7.5. 7.5 set. We should find out how much extra we have. We have 4.9 extra for this flight. And performance, I need to see what performance is going to be like. Stink conditions, we'll take off flaps 1 plus slats. And right now, we're going to be using roughly a third of the runway for departure. Flex is 53 degrees centigrade with V1, V rotate, and V2, 129, 129, 132, respectively. Okay. 129, 129, 132 set. And M. I wonder what that is. Flaps, what did we say for flaps? Flaps are going to be 0.4 up. 0.4 up. Wait, did I get the, oh, forgive me. 1 up 0.4. I forgot. 53 degrees for flex. There we go. So now we've got performance, or at least most of the performance. We'll confirm the flight plan. We're going to be leaving Corfu. We're going to be flying a departure to Olgat. I think that's at least part of it. Hang on. Olgat is our waypoint outside the departure. We need to actually enter a SID for the departure out of Corfu, so we have to pick one. Departure, departing on runway 16, and it's going to be the Olgat 2 Delta departure. And then we insert. We'll double check the takeoff data shortly. And there we go, Olgat. And then we've got multiple waypoints. Eventually, though, we're going to see Debbie. Debbie is there. Now we need to program the arrival into Frankfurt. We'll be taking the Debbie 1 Bravo arrival to land on runway 25 left. And I should be able to see the Debbie waypoint and then see the arrival happen. There's Debbie. And then the last waypoint on the arrival, I believe, is going to be Delta Foxtrot 2616. And then we go manual vectors to Delta Foxtrot 626, but considering how far away it is from the airport, I'm just going to go ahead and close the gap manually because I'm not flying on an air traffic controlled network, so I'm not going to worry. Am I going to fly on ATC networks in the future? Yes. Not right now, though. I'm good. So once we line up, we get lined up with the runway, and if we have to go around, we'll be climbing to an altitude of 5,000 feet. The final approach fix for 25 left is going to be, I believe, at 1,660 feet, but the beam begins at Delta Foxtrot 620. So 4,000 is going to be the altitude I'm going to set, and as we descend, I'll make it 5,000. And if we have to go around, what was I saying? Oh, Delta Bravo, to Bravo. Any restrictions? 210 knots on the departure. At or above, at or above, at or above. There's no major restrictions. So I think I'll set the initial altitude to 7,000 for what I believe is the transition. Oh, transition is actually 5,000. So let me not mess around with that too much. I'll go ahead and just set the cruise altitude for the departure since there's no restriction. We're going to be flying at 380 today. 380 set. And performance, I have to double check that. It's 132 for the initial. And now we have flight directors and constraints. Okay, QNH 1013, that's probably because I forgot to turn live weather back on. And now we have live weather. There we go, it's 1009. We have some clouds in the vicinity. And that's good enough for right now. We'll probably adjust screen brightness as we go. And what else is left? Not much. Let me get the transponder. Walk code set. Thank you, Lost Lake. Enjoy your break. Go get you some food, and hope to catch you when you return. Appreciate you stopping by, my friend. So we've got the squawk code set. I'll double check that. And to be honest with you, since I'm probably going to get going shortly, I'm just going to kick it over to TARA now. Go to on, and let's see. Get that set. Nope. A little higher. There we go. So, altitude reporting on, TCAS mode on, and we'll get the weather systems set after we get pushed back. Lock the door. And which view was this? I think it was 2. Okay, pretty convenient. Okay, so we've got this set. I have to take a look at this. That can stay on. Calculations performed. Let's get the APU started. Fuel pumps on. We'll take a look at the center console real quick. Fuel confirmed 7.520. Running off of external power, we'll get the APU running shortly. APU is not on. We'll set the aircon shortly. Doors are closed. Normal to the line. Let's double check our temperature. And that should do it. Nav and logo lights to position 2. Beacon light on. Let's go ahead and hit up the APU and APU bleed. APU starting up now. Once this gets going, I can go ahead and probably call up GSX. At the same time, though, I can probably just get myself turned around right now if I want to. But, for the sake of decorum, if you will, I'll go ahead and call up GSX and have them push us back. So we'll do a GN Airlines for the ground service, and we should have them coming over shortly to get us pushed back. Welcome aboard, everybody. Happy to have you with us. We should be getting out of here momentarily. And do you want to know what? I'm going to swap my controller. I shouldn't have too much trouble doing this. If we crash, we crash. I want to have a good time, but I don't care about sim stability. I'm not trying to make the sim crash, but, you know, Yahweh permitting, we're not going to have an issue with that. I just like the greater degree of control that my other joystick had. Be able to choose what direction for the pushback. I might have missed that. If for some reason we run into problems with or get a CTE during flight, I will probably do 1 or 2 challenges or activities today and then call it a stream. Or maybe we'll switch to trucking if the flight sim crashes. We'll see. Yeah, I think I like this a lot better. I also feel like it feels like I can actually, feel them lifting the gear or doing the necessary stuff. Okay, GPU is disconnected already. And I'll turn window heat on now. There we go. All right, so continue push back. And we will do a nose left, tail right. Parking brakes released. Okay, so We're on the clock now. 2 hours, 45 minutes block time for today, so roughly a 2-hour, 50-minute flight. Ignition to start. Engine 2, startup. Okay, it looks like we've got movement in engine 2. That's good. For our departure out of Corfu, once we get finished with the pushback, we will taxi up Alpha to Alpha 3. Pretty short pushback. Well, pretty short taxi. Not ultra short, but still. Okay, good enough. Engine 1, please. Flaps to 1. Trim set for 0.4. Parking brakes set. Okay, almost ready. Once I start to see the EGT rise on 1, that's going to be good enough for me. There we go. Okay. Auto brakes to max. Engines available. Ignition mode normal. And a quick flight control check while they wrap up. That's it. Don't see anybody this side. How about over here? There we go. There's our pushback crew. There is the gear pin. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, so a quick double check of the weather. Corfu weather right now, we've got winds 130 at 10. Visibility is fairly great. We've got few clouds at 1,000 and scatter clouds at 1,600. Ceiling is at least 12,000 feet AGL. Temperature is 21 degrees centigrade, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a nice day in Corfu. The humidity is 88% though, so it is a bit, maybe just a touch sticky, but the weather's cool enough that I wouldn't mind if I was there, I don't think. So, good enough for me. Okay, flight controls checked. Free and clear. Alright. 4 minutes in. Let's go ahead and release the parking brake and get taxiing. Also, taxi light on. And APU bleed and APU can come off. Strobe to auto. And we will drop the landing gear lights into place. And what am I missing? Compass light. Overhead lighting set. What are we missing? I don't think we're missing anything. Oxygen is set. We've got temperature set. APU is coming off. Probe heat's on. Nav logo lights set. Wing lights. Strobe is on auto. Landing lights are deployed. Nose lights taxi. Seatbelt signs are on. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, yes, the weather system. So weather system 1. And that should be everything. Oh, for some reason the speed brakes were deployed. A little strange. Oh, wait, hold on. No, for some reason it doesn't want to actually do shift for the speed brake arm. But we have a ground spoiler set. And we are taxiing. That's better. It was like really loud and tinny before. Seems like it's much louder up front. Almost seems backwards. Alright, bye-bye Corfu. We are leaving Greece behind. Okay, taxiing down Alpha, going to Alpha 3. I don't intend on returning to the terminal area, so I'm going to go ahead and deploy my landing lights. Strobe light on. That's about it. Flight attendants, seats for departure. And we'll leave OFP on screen, and there we go. Don't see anybody coming in. And we don't have anybody on the runway. Let's get going, shall we? Okay, so one-shot deal. 1 flight today to Frankfurt from Corfu. If you have them, throw up your Flex SRS runway emotes in chat, and we are going to leave and get on our way. Traffic? Nope, sorry. Oh, yeah, I do like fall weather. And especially the colors. And when there's both, that's superb. Flex SRS. Auto thrust blue, 100 knots. I'll get to the next comment shortly. Stand by. A little bit of wind on departure. Oof. Positive rake, you're up. Can you send us those cooler temps? Welcome aboard, Sogan. Oh, I'd like that. Okay. 600. Autopilot on. We'll keep the slats in. I'm going to keep the engines on Toga because we need the boost. We are flirting with the alpha floor right now. I don't like that. I'm going to keep it on manual climb. Excuse me, manual thrust until we get to slat retraction. There we go, slats. Bus climb set. Nose lights off. And we are on our way to 4,000 feet. 210 knots on the climb out. Not too shabby. Man, this thing likes to climb. Ooh. Look at that. Okay, so we're coming up on transition altitude. You'll see... Did I set transition altitude as 7,000? I don't know, but I will set it now. There we go. Standard. We'll clear 10,000 and set the no smoking signs to auto, because I think that's also electronic devices. That will at least let the flight attendants know. I'm pretending. Okay, coming up on 10K now. $10,000 set. Landing lights off. And I'd like to turn the wing lights off when I get a 10K anyway. I'm fine. Nav logo lights, I think, handle themselves. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the graphics settings, because I'm not flying the Boeing Max 8, the 737 Max 8. The DLSS, for some reason, just doesn't look the way that I want it to look. So I'm going to go back to TAA, and I'm going to run the locally installed lossless scaling. Yeah, that's way better. Even on like ultra quality or whatever you call it, DLSS doesn't produce the kind of crispness that is even passable for me. So let me turn on lossless scaling. And we'll get going. It was warmer this week around here. It definitely was. Okay, there we go. Nice. There was a period of time where I was using DLSS like all the way up, like super duper high quality in FS 2020, and I feel like it was close enough for me to take the drawback in terms of that blurriness. But with FS 2024, for some reason, DLSS does not look good. I have to figure it out. I don't know why. I don't know why. But here we are. We are 15,500 climbing to flight level 380. I mean, we're approaching flight level 160. Flight levels start different places in Europe. Depends on the airport in the country, but we're already standard pressure. And we are, I would probably say, about 8 minutes into the flight. I forgot to turn on my chrono, and I kind of don't care. Yeah, at this point, it's moot, so I'm not worried about it. I'm pretty sure we got onto the runway at about the 8 or 9 minute mark anyway, so we're okay. And that's it. So welcome everybody, good to see you. We are flying to Frankfurt today in FS 2024. We're at the helm of the Builds A320 Neo V2, and we are flying the orbit colors. We're orbit 1907, and we are flying it actual, not real time right now because it'll be dark, but we're flying it real speed. Usually I do considerably longer hauls, so I increase sim rate to 4x to cover as much ground as I can in about, a 2.5, 3 hour sitting. But today we're just flying up to Frankfurt from Corfu. A while ago, I flew into Skiathos in X-Plane 12 in an Embraer, and I decided I was going to do a little bit of trucking in Greece, which turned out to be a really cool thing because we explored the island. We got to hop. We explored the country and we got to do island hopping on ferries, which turned out to be a pretty funny and slightly confusing thing, but we got past that. Then today came and I said, you know what, I feel like flying. Also, news brief. I'm home. I have a few days off from work. I've been ferrying Mrs. Digi around and getting her to some medical things. Fuzzy pickles, may the Lord bless you, my friend. Thank you so much for stopping in today. Really appreciate having you aboard. We are flying to Frankfurt, Germany. We took off from Corfu a little while ago, and we are enjoying some weather reload action, or at least some deferred weather loading as the clouds kind of dissipate before our eyes. We are flying in the Airbus A320neo, and I'm catching up with chat about the past few days. This week for me was quick. I'm already done working. I have time off. I worked the first few days, and then yesterday I went to go take Mrs. Digi to a kind of, you know, a place, a hospital, so she could get a special treatment. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with this. There's something that some people get in order to help them deal with a medical issue, medical malady, whatever it might be. There's something called platelet-rich plasma therapy or something, or plasma replacement therapy. I don't know what the official name is, but basically what they do is they use your body's natural systems to actually deal with a major problem. And her problem was she's been hurting for a very long time. I've been keeping you guys aware of us trying to figure out what's going on. So basically, we got to a point where they said, okay, try this. Here's how it's going to work. It's going to hurt and it's going to help. Or at least in the people where supposedly getting the process done hurts, it also helps. Because I think what happens is you have to deliberately introduce inflammation in order for the body to naturally begin the work of improving or healing the affected systems. So she got that done. We came back. This morning, I took her to another place, but it was for a different, fairly common procedure. What's that? What was that? Okay. Well, it was a colonoscopy. And we went, we got it taken care of. And when she got out of there, she wanted food. So we got sandwiches, we got ice cream. She got pampered when she got back home, in the sense that I took care of prepping the food, prepping the bed so she could lay down and get comfortable and get rested. We had lunch, and basically after that, she chilled, and this is part of the chillage right now. Well, I've been reading up on PRP. I cannot say the same for colonoscopy. Um, it took a little bit longer than the PRP process. The PRP process is actually really fast. What took longer was getting to the place we had to go. I had to get up really, really early that day to make sure that we made it in time. And we got there literally within a half an hour of the appointment. That was on Wednesday for the PRP treatment. But what was interesting was it reminded me of the things that I like and don't like about early morning driving and what some people would consider a commute to work. Because I live in redacted and I'm about redacted hours away from the city of redacted. But okay, here let me give you an idea. Picture any major city that you're close to. Now, say you oh wow, same. Say you live uh far enough away that you would basically have to take a while. You'd have to get up very early to go to the city. That's what happened. I was up at around like 5, 10 past 5. We got ready, we left. It was dark out when I left, but as we started getting closer, it started getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Hopped on the highway. Mrs. Digi's in the passenger seat sleeping. And as I start getting closer and closer to the city, it gets brighter and then the sun comes out. And one of the things about driving like that I forgot about was just how, you know, barring any problems, of course, how quiet and sort of like insulated the driving experience is. Now, I mean, you drive in certain cities if there's a lot of traffic and all you do is like go like 15 to 20 miles an hour or less the whole time. I would imagine the commuting process is not going to be rewarding at all. In fact, like I said, I'm fully remote. That makes me really happy that I don't have to drive into an office in the city all the time. Um, but just that morning, it was cold. The air was crisp. There wasn't a single cloud in the sky. It was just beautiful outside. And we drove back, and it got a little cloudy, but nothing bad. We drove back home, and we got her settled in, and a similar situation, just for her to relax. But basically, it took me longer to get to take her for her PRP treatment than for me to go get her set for her colonoscopy. And so she's done. She's set. And of course, like I like to say, take it like you will. I've given plenty of markers that basically indicate more or less the age range that we're in. I'll never admit to it and disavow it, but basically draw your own conclusions. With that said, she's chilling, we're flying, enjoying the cloudy, watery landscape as we fly to Germany from Greece. And just the past few days have got me thinking. For instance, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Nothing touches me quite like having to spend time away from my wife and being able to go back to her after she comes back from a surgery or a procedure, or if she's even in the ER getting something done. I'm privileged to be married to my wife. Next year we'll be married 25 years. And spending time away from her sucks. She is an enormous blessing to me. And being able to come back to her is something that I relish. I had a friend of mine ask me, well, Why aren't you using like white blood cells for stuff like that? And so I asked, and basically the difference is if we're talking about addressing things like infection or like something else, white blood cells do a very specific job. Platelets apparently boost or have growth factors that make them suited to fixing issues like the issues that Mrs. Digi has. So this, I think it became something in the past 5 years, and I'm 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 interested to see whether or not we actually get any progress with this. The stats on this seem to be most people won't need more than, I think, two over the course of their entire lives, and one might actually be enough for years of relief. So we'll see. Again, though, both times I was glad to get her back. Both times I was glad to get back together with her and just to have her, under my wing, and just for us to get on and get back to doing what we do. I'm hopeful that the PRP will allow her to start being way more mobile and active so she can do a bunch of stuff. It'd be great for that to happen coming into the Christmas season. Only Yahweh Elohim knows, so I'm resting that in his hands. I think joint and muscle repair seem to be some pretty good targets for it for PRP. So I'm hopeful and optimistic that we're going to have some issues. We're going to have some positive resolution of issues, I should say. So we'll see. With that said, I also had a good chunk of time over the past, I would say, the past 3 months or so. A lot of you know, as I've, kept you in the loop about how I feel about life and work and all that stuff. I was toasty. I was burnt out. I was having trouble with just keeping up with the pace of things that were going on at my job. And I am grateful to be, at least temporarily, in a season where challenges are not like coming at me all at once. Gives me an opportunity for me to actually chill and be still and do work and focus on getting stuff done, and just get from one sprint to another. We had our scrum master basically say, "Hey, we're actually ahead of the ball with regards to this project, and thank you." So that's nice to hear, as opposed to where I was a year and a half ago, where I felt like so much stuff was falling apart all around me. And I literally had so much stress that my wife, Mrs. Digi, literally told me, "I could feel your stress from the next room over." And it wasn't because I was yelling. It was like my brain was running at 180%. I was literally frying my brain cells in my office at home. But I believe that God saw that through Christ. And I feel like it was a transformative period for me. I have a much better idea as to how I see the world, or what it is that I want to do with regards to um, doing work or thinking about things. It's different for me now than it was. I have different goals. So am I. So am I. I'm glad that I had the time to reset expectations, and I understand what it is that I want to do. Now, is it easy for me to do all those things? Not yet, but I'm working on it. So again, I think you hit the nail on the head. When I was burning out and all over the place, I literally felt like my brain was either warm or like it was like exuding something, almost like a kind of like mental fire in my brain. I was just cranked to the max. And it probably negatively affected my metabolism or otherwise affected my ability to do simple things. So I wouldn't put it past that. Um, but I'm at a place now where the skills and the resilience that was brought out as a result of going through all that, it's different now. Let me get my approach fix set since we're cruising. It'll be 4,000. Let me double check the map real fast. I will figure out when it is that we have to start thinking about descent. Oh, I don't even see it on the map, so we're maxed out. Ipkiss is a... Where's the Ipkiss waypoint? Let me see if I can find it real fast. Oh, sheesh. Ipkiss is still in the Italian, like, Grecian Sea, so we're not even gonna have to think about descending until we probably get to around Vienna or like Austria, like Vienna or like Innsbruck. So no, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah, yeah, we're good. We'd have like another, I think, like 45 minutes at that point anyway. There was a mental loop that I found myself in, I'd say over the past like 3 weeks. I was trying to get to a place where I knew that I had opportunities lined up. Folks like me are looking for different opportunities as software developers or to use our skills or our experience. So basically, we're looking for work, and there's so much there's so much that we'd like to be doing, or at least we'd like to be doing better. Whether it's better healthcare, better pay, better work-life balance with the commute, and all that stuff. And we keep looking, we keep applying, and we keep either getting silently rejected or passed over for opportunities. There was somebody that I looked at on YouTube for videos about basically not work-life balance. It's well, I mean, like work in general and doing stuff like that. I feel like I feel like the next direction for me is literally going to be entrepreneurship, and that's not because I want to be, ultra rich, blah. It's literally because the state of things, in my opinion, is basically coming to a point where the only genuine kind of progress that I'll be able to make is by either starting my own company or being a co-founder for somebody and changing my schedule, changing my ways to basically support somebody else's business or support my own and have the income to prove it. And again, it is not about being able to buy whatever I want, go out whenever I want. Fuzzy, I have a few. One of them is built off of an existing premise. I like to fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator, as you can see. Oh, and speaking of seeing, let me show you guys the plane. Might get loud. Earphone warning in three, two, one. Nice, right? There we go. Uh, a nice view too. Nice. Okay. So, about 3 years ago, Fuzzy, I decided I wanted to create an airport in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I had spent the previous 3 or 4 months creating tiny airports for general aviation flying. I had fun. It was a new direction for my channel. So I said, okay, let's do this for real. I picked an airport, I built it, I put it on Sim Market. I actually sold about 10 copies. So I actually went pro. And I said, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So I wanted to, make other airports. And I I went, hardcore. And then what happened was I got busy with my IRL job. I was taking Mrs. Digi to stuff, medical stuff. I was getting additional responsibilities at work. I was starting to put more and more tasks in my brain. So, what do you think happens when you're working on something and other aspects of life start to crowd around it? I don't know about you, but I started to task saturate and focus on what was important. Clearly, I had to prioritize following Christ, living that example out, or trying to, being the husband that I needed to be to take care of my wife while she was recovering from her surgeries, doing all that stuff. No, I did not create a clone to do both. Um, and to clear the air, let's be ridiculously blatantly obvious here. Focusing on taking care of my family and my responsibilities, the ones that actually paid the bills, first was what was required. Looking back on that period in hindsight, I feel like one of the biggest detractors was incorrect expectations for me. The expectations that I had about how I wanted to approach the business of selling airports. I was comparing myself to other companies that probably have multiple employees tackling huge airports that probably give them tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in flight sim sales when they release. So, is it incorrect for me to compare myself to companies like, FSim Studios and Drazeki Design and Fly Tampa? Of course it is. I'm not the same. And um, some people are one-man operations. I think Pyrig is. Pyrig makes scenery for Flight Sim, including I think Belfast and a few other places. All this to say, I was doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing, comparing myself to other people, expecting myself to have a level of output that matched all that. But there was a benefit. There was actually a blessing in me falling on my face or running out of energy and wondering, oh my goodness, how am I ever going to get this done? I suck. I'm horrible. No, no, no. I'm not horrible. I was learning the ropes, really understanding what it was that I wanted to do and needed to do. If I were to run into myself at that point, I would have to tell myself, no, 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 no. Focus on the important stuff. I mean, first and foremost, seek first the kingdom of God. Focus on the important stuff and let those other stupid high expectations go away. Because the more I chase them, the worse I'm going to feel. My frustration and my sense of failure was a vehicle for me to relax my white knuckled grip on trying to make that stuff happen. When I worked on the major project for my company recently, I had to go through some very frustrating, very difficult, very transformative stuff that made me change my mind about how I view certain things about my job. So, that was also a benefit because it also forced me to pay attention to the things that I was supposed to be. I know it's extremely easy for me to compare myself to others too. The benefit of the challenges that I faced and of hitting the ground so hard it almost felt like I mentally bounced. It was all I could do to hold on to God. Like I wasn't about to let go. This drove me to him and said, like, I need your help. I'm going to fail without you. Now, there was some failing that took place. I'm not a failure, but I did mess up in certain ways. The benefit of all that was I got to relearn what it was about doing certain things, doing certain work based activities that cemented, am I okay? Cemented my understanding about stuff. Ah, yes, yes, I am. Bonsoir, MSEP. Good to see you, my friend. I'm in FS 2024. We are flying the A320 Neo to Frankfurt. I am in Europe. I'm doing a bit of an unofficially official world tour. I've been flying west ever since I started in Vancouver. I've flown to Tokyo. I've flown to um, Singapore. I flew to Delhi. From Delhi, I flew to Istanbul. And from Istanbul, I flew to Greece, to Skiathos. And after trucking for a little bit, I went to Corfu, and now we're flying up to Frankfurt today. Nice. It's good to see you, my friend. Welcome aboard. So nice to have you. I was just recounting just the way I've been handling the last few years and doing some brain venting. Omelette du fromage. Oui. Oh, man. I like breakfast. What can I say? So let's skip ahead a little bit. I'm with a new team now. We're working on different, slightly different projects, but same basic technical aspects. The pace is different. You okay? Okay. Let me know if you need help. Okay. Mrs. DG is just moving about. I'm hoping that a recent treatment that she had, MSEP, is going to help her mobility. But the next month is going to be the real test because the procedure she got was something called PRP, platelet platelet rich plasma, which is basically spun from the person's blood and re-injected as a means of accelerating the healing process. But natural healing does involve inflammation, and inflammation is, as you can imagine, painful. So she can't take, painkillers or like NSAIDs to take care of that. So that's gonna hurt. But I'm gonna do my best to take care of her and just take care of myself. And it makes me think like it's easy for me to just do the most that I can for a lot of people and ignore myself. But I feel better about the past like 6 or 7 months because I've started to notice how I feel in certain circumstances and how things like, for example, normal sleep patterns and things like different different amounts of caffeine consumption can benefit me. So basically, the point being, I'm drinking 2 cups of coffee a day, no more. I'm doing my best to be consistent in my sleep habits, and I'm doing my best to work and also not work my brain into the ground. I'm flying the Builds A320neo. It's the V2, the one that's available in the standard edition of FS 2024. I'm flying Orbit Airlines right now. Oh, I do like me some coffee, and I drink it black. But a couple of years ago, I maxed out. About a year and a half ago, I maxed out at 4 cups a day. The withdrawal from reducing that was terrible. I went from 4 cups to 3 cups, and my brain was just like, "You suck." It hurt. When I got settled at three, I took it back down to two, and I noticed that when I started drinking 3 cups a day again, just like say to have fun on the weekends, it it just had this residual effect that I didn't like. So I've stuck with two for about the past 3 or 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and it's definitely helped. I get tired at a certain point every night, and that's kind of like my body's cue to shut down, which is great. They charge you $12,000 to Google stuff. Ow. Ouch. Boy. But life. So, coffee. Not today. Not on VATSIM. I might start doing flights on VATSIM in Europe again at some point. I did earlier this summer. I was an X-Plane 12 and I flew from Frankfurt to where? Where did we go? Frankfurt to, I think it was from Frankfurt to Vienna. And it was pretty cool. Frankfurt was popping off, but it was okay. We got the flight done. It was really cool. I have X-Plane 12 installed. I don't fly it as much as maybe I should, but it's there. Um, I'm gonna start picking up the hard hat and construction equipment and start building airports again. I think I'm gonna stick with GA airports and micro regional airports to try to test dealing with heavier traffic, but without building, huge international airports. Or if I do, they're gonna take a while and I'm gonna be doing them by myself. Now, I do want to do that because I realize how much of a benefit it is to create scenery. I just need to have realistic expectations. which I feel like I do now because I understand I'm not competing with Drazeki Design. I'm not competing with Pyreeg. I'm competing with myself. And I think I will actually mess around with a little bit of scenery dev tonight just for fun. And I think my new approach to scenery development is going to be do what you can, when you can, how you can. There is no other company, it's just you. And so if I choose to do that, I'm going to go ahead and continue to share the journey on my Discord and in other places like my Buy Me a Coffee account. Shameless plug. I have a Buy Me a Coffee account where you can actually become a member or a supporter, and then you can support the work of me actually learning how to be a professional scenery dev. And then basically you can get updates or early access to specific things that I'm working on. Like, for example, a recent airport I finished for FS 2020 at the request of a friend and for use in an upcoming project. That's my Buy Me a Coffee account. You're only going to see that reference once and never again for this particular stream. No one is required to give me a penny, but if you do choose to donate, it is graciously appreciated. Now, if you were curious and you said, hey, that's cool, how can I get money to you faster? Then I believe you can go to my Streamlabs account, which I have here, and that like goes straight into the fuel tank. And then basically that does things like allowing me to, buy gas, uh, get groceries or occasional dinners in for Mrs. Digi. It helps to, float the mission of continuing to look at flight sim content and think about it and think about airports, but also do day-to-day stuff. Again, neither of those things are required. If you don't have the money or you don't care, it's okay. I get it. Life is rough for a lot of people. If you do feel inclined, I would sincerely appreciate it. And if you haven't already, there is my Discord link if you're curious. I do I chat about life, about flight sim, about other hobbies that we have. we, were, we were just chatting up food, um, fun stuff, and we were talking about, I talk about video games occasionally. I talked about uninstalling Lockheed Martin's Prepared. Um, and now I don't, like, I have most of FS 2020 uninstalled because I wanted to make room for FS 2024. In case you guys don't know, one of the things that I did was I actually um, removed a whole bunch of the things that basically got installed so that I could move those installs, those world updates into FS 2024. Now, FS 2024 behaves a lot like FS 2020 did in that it takes a while for me to load into FS 2024 because I've installed the base packages, um, the world updates, the city updates, the add-ons that you have from like FlightSim.to. Those are installed in your drive, so it's not going to try to stream those. Those are there, but FS 2024 streams pretty much everything else that it can, including the base scenery, the world updates, the the systems for your aircraft. So if you fly and you find that the experience is less reliable and kind of stuttery, if you have the hard drive space, you can probably go to the content manager, the same place you go to the marketplace. There's a link in FS 2024 for you to view your library, and you can see all the things that are streaming, and you can choose which ones you want to install locally, which should hopefully give you an easier time with scenery loading once you're actually in the sim. Of course, when you install as many things as I have, it's going to it's going to take a long time to load into the sim. Just, be prepared to have the old school slow loading like you did in FS 2020. But in my opinion, for me, it was kind of a non-negotiable because I wanted to get as much performance in the sim as I could without without having unreliable frame rate. So it's worked pretty nicely for me right now. I'm happy. So I'm happy about that. I think, barring any leftover projects, I think a good chunk of people are going to start transitioning into FS 2024 now. All right, folks, I'm taking a look at the flight right now. We're still between, say, like Croatia and Italy. So I'm going to take a brief break just to help Mrs. Digi with some stuff. We're flying real time, so let me think. I took off. When did I take off? I took off about 50 minutes ago. We have about an hour and change until we arrive in Frankfurt. I'm going to step away momentarily. Have a great night, MSEP. Great to see you. I'm going to step away momentarily, get some stuff done as quickly as I can. Not quickly, but I'm going to take care of some things and make sure Mrs. Digi is taken care of. I'll give you guys a wing view, and then we'll come back. We'll cover some more topics and hopefully have a nice arrival at Frankfurt. So sit tight, grab a drink, grab some tea, or grab some coffee, your choice. I should be back momentarily, Lord willing. Sit tight. BRB. Hello, everybody. I'm back. Stepped away to take care of a little bit of cleanup and to get some more food for Mrs. Digi. Actually, more food is a phenomenal idea. I will probably have the rest of the sandwich, which I procured earlier today, after the stream is done, or I'll probably snack on something before long. But it's nice to have that as an option. Meanwhile, let's see where we are. We are still about 80 nautical miles out from Ipkiss, and on the flight, that means we are about 35% of the way to Frankfurt. Let me see. So, halfway mark, 25%. We're like 25 to 30% in. So, slice that there and there. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, we've easily still got like an hour to hour like and a half before we actually arrive, or at least an hour, at least an hour. Ooh, blueberry donut holes. Oh my goodness, you just triggered a memory. Um, Back in the summer of 2023, my family and I went to Alaska. We spent a week touring the interior of Alaska before we made it to Anchorage, roughly a week. And then we cruised from Whittier down to Vancouver on a cruise ship. And I remember we flew into Fairbanks on a Sunday from Seattle. And when we got there, we took a bus to the first lodge we stayed at. We had a land and sea tour, so we stayed at lodges in Fairbanks, Cantwell, and Talkeetna. And the first lodge that we stayed in, the next day we got up and we did a riverboat tour. And the riverboat was like the steamboat, like the old school ones with like the thing in the back that basically rotates. And I remember it was a great tour because we got to eat like salmon chowder, and we had coffee and blueberry donuts. They were good. They were really, really good. And basically, I kind of remember that morning. I was, I think, recovering from having like my typical traveler's 3 hours of sleep from the prior day, and the difference in sleep schedule. So the funny thing about me falling asleep in Alaska was that it wasn't really that much different than me falling asleep back home, because at the time I was staying up super late anyway. So going to sleep around like 11 p.m. Alaska time was good, and it vibed with my late nights anyway. But that first day, drinking coffee, eating donuts, like eating blueberry donuts, that was such a trip. Alaska, if you go, make sure you eat salmon. If the idea of eating fish even sounds passable, believe me, salmon is amazing. Yeah, seriously, Sogan, go to Fairbanks and do a riverboat tour. You won't be disappointed. Complete freedom, my friend. Hello. Thanks so much for stopping by today. We're in Europe in FS 2024. We're flying the any builds Airbus 320, A320neo. We're flying to Frankfurt. We took off from Corfu, and we are talking about life, and we're definitely talking about food. I was just recounting my trip to Alaska a couple summers ago. Actually, yeah, roughly 3 summers ago, back in the summer of 2023. Complete freedom. I'm better than I deserve. Dealing with life as it comes. The Lord has been my shield and my shepherd, guiding me through some stuff. and I'm learning. I'm learning how to be more prodigious as a employee and also focusing on the things that matter. Ooh, hope you have a great time cooking on the grill. Um, I'm happy to have burgers. We have this kind of like unspoken tradition most summers that my wife's family likes to grill. So they make burgers and hot dogs at least once or twice, and then basically boom, we eat them. My job is to be a professional grill eater. So they bring the stuff, I eat it, everybody's happy. But I hope you have a great time. After tonight's trip, I'm probably going to have dinner, watch some videos, maybe play some retro games, or maybe once everything's settled and everybody's asleep, I'll do a little bit of scenery dev just to kind of warm up the appetite again and get back into it because I want to do that. I want to build GA airports for FS 2024, and now that we've had almost a year's worth of updates and patches, I think that the SDK and the sim are at a place where we can actually start doing some damage in terms of releasing airports. Yeah, burgers do sound good. Um, I have a hoagie though, so it's close enough for me. Free works. Free 99 for food in my fridge right now is amazing. Praise the Lord. So apparently this is like my second or third trip into or out of Frankfurt in the past like year in the sim. So this is beginning to become a favorite spot for me, which is cool. Also, the fact that it's a bespoke airport in the sim also cements it as a destination. So clearly it's where I'm going. But in terms of flying in the sim and enjoying the scenery, FS 2024 has grown on me. Now, I'm not sleeping on X-Plane 12 because I like flying in a sim, and there's just a different experience there altogether, which I'm happy to be able to enjoy as well. Otherwise, I think I'm trying to do more with programming, and I might do a little bit of vibe coding to see if I can actually make some toy around with the idea of a flight sim utility or do a few things faster. Am I in a hurry to do all that? No. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not worrying about that. I wanna have fun with the process. I don't wanna be like, oh, hey, let me get good at this hobby so I can make money off of it. No, stop. No pass, full stop, catch your breath. I do not need to make every single one of my hobbies turn money. I don't. I want something that I can do, you know, watching movies with Mrs. DG, like, cross stitch, playing old video games, to be something that I can do without immediately turning around and going, hmm, is that something that my viewers care about? I want to say I don't care. Like, I need something disconnected that's enjoyable that lets my brain park itself for a little bit. Now, hey, let's be real here. Getting bills paid, having the ability to take my wife out for a nice meal, those are great things. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I value my ability to do something which is going to let me just, laugh and chuckle. Uh, Oddly enough, I think, what was it that I was watching that made me laugh lately? Well, interacting with certain people on their Twitch channels. I like to think of myself as a professional Twitch viewer, way more than a Twitch streamer. I genuinely think extensively about how to engage and how to be quiet in chat because I want to benefit other people's chat screens and not monopolize conversations or otherwise be like this 5-year old jumping up and down saying, "Notice me, notice me, notice me. I'm here to talk to you. Answer every question I have for you." This is what I don't want to do. But but with friends, with people that I can be more genuine with, want to benefit and bring l- what's the word? Levity? Well, a little bit of happiness or a little bit of introspection into the chat. And if I can sub, great. Funds are, you know, not as much as they used to be for me at the moment, so I need to pick my engagements carefully. I do have a Prime sub that I give to a friend of mine that I've talked to for a while, pure luck. But also, there are some things that I can do. There's plenty that I can do that I can actually focus on if I can just get my brain settled. I'll chat with anyone in the room. Sogan, I want you to know how grateful I am to have you in chat. And also, a thank you once again to every single one of the people that actually lurk and listen in the background or just watch me on screen and don't say anything. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to be a part of the experience. So thank you. Okay, we're almost to the northeastern corner of Greece. We're going through we're going past Dubrovnik and Split, and then we'll be in inside of mainland Europe, and that'll be it for sea-bound adventures. Real weather, but not real time. If it was real time, it'd be dark. Where do I want to go from Frankfurt? I don't know. I'm probably going to go to parts north. What I might do is either go up to Oslo and then go to Keflavik, or go from Frankfurt to maybe Heathrow, Heathrow to um, Dublin or Cork, and then maybe fly all the way down to Madrid, and then Madrid to Marrakesh, or Madrid to Madeira, and then Fuerteventura, and maybe hit the western shore of Africa and fly across that gap to Brazil, and then South America, come up the spine, go to Colombia, Panama, and up Central America, or we will go from Frankfurt to say Frankfurt to Heathrow, Heathrow to Oslo, Oslo to Keflavik, Keflavik to St. John's, and then go down the East Coast, go to the Caribbean, go to Colombia, then Brazil, then like Chile, and then come back up. I'm cooking here. Morocco sounds like a plan. Definitely sounds like a plan. So what I could do is do a long haul from an accelerated long haul from Frankfurt to Marrakesh, and then because I've flown into and out of Madrid in the past, that's okay if I skip it for now. Marrakesh, and then probably touch at least a part of the continent. Marrakesh to Fuerteventura, Fuerteventura maybe to either the western portion of this, like southwestern Africa, like the northern portion of it, the northern southwest. Uh, where are we? I need to look at the world map. Hold on. So I could go to Morocco and maybe Mauritania or Senegal, and then Ghana. And I mean, if I'm going to go down that far, I might as well get myself down to Johannesburg or Cape Town, or I could save that for a future trip. And again, Frankfurt to Morocco, Morocco to maybe Ghana, Ghana to Cape Verde, and maybe then go oceanic and get myself to maybe Rio. So I do feel like a trip to South America is definitely in the books because I've spent so much time up, like, flying across the northern portion of the Atlantic Ocean. I've never gone to Brazil on a long haul. I might as well try once. So if I do this, I'm gonna go Frankfurt to Marrakesh, Marrakesh to probably Ghana, and then Ghana to probably Ghana straight to Rio, and then Rio maybe Rio to Peru or Ecuador, and do hops up Central America, or temporarily interrupt that and go to, say, the Caribbean, and ping pong between Central America, the Caribbean, then fly back to Cancun, then go up to Puerto Vallarta, and then do one or two flights, or one or two or three or four or five flights up to maybe the Maritimes in Nova Scotia, do some Canadian flying, come back into the States, and then go to the Southwest and fly up the West Coast back to Vancouver and call it at that point. So yeah, I'm thinking the western face of Africa, South America, Central America, and the Caribbean, the States, Canada, and the States again, and then Vancouver. Boom, done. Ooh, Concepcion. Nice. Nice. Write that down, Digi. Write that down. Noted. Noted. Thank you. Did I lose my... No, I did. I thought I lost my, what am I saying? I thought I lost my lossless scaling. I think we're good. Yep, just fine. Okay, now, I still don't see descent instructions. Not descent instructions. I still don't see anything for descent just yet. So, hang on. And follow my plane again. Yeah, we're almost out of this sea here, and we're coming up on the northern shore of Italy. Yeah, so this is probably going to be coming into Italy really briefly. Somewhere around here is going to be like Austria, and then we're going to start coming into Germany. Spelling, things happen. I get it. Loads of clouds, though. That's for sure. I'm fairly pleased with even medium level volumetric clouds in NFS 2024. I feel like they changed the way that they actually render stuff. I'm not talking about the quality of clouds. I'm just saying how the clouds are actually computed, I guess. So it's nice to see. Once I get close enough to descent, we're going to start making sure that we have the data. Although, to be honest, if I get started now, there'll be less to do then. So let's take a look at the weather here. Ooh, we are chasing the sun. Dashboard update. Winds are 230 and 18. Temperature is 12. QNH is 0, 9, or 9, or 4. All right, let's get the performance set. Or can I? There we go. Performance. Why is it actually not going anywhere? That's a little weird, but that's okay. Uh, that does seem a little weird to me. Like I can't actually see the other pages that I normally would see. Am I doing something wrong? I don't want to activate approach phase yet because obviously we're well on our way, but why would this be a problem? The knit, not a knit, not flight plan. I normally go to performance and there's a page I can actually activate the stuff. But um, let me leave that as it may. Let me see if I can set the performance details here. Well, this is only takeoff, not landing. So I don't know. We'll do what we can, I guess. I mean, am I gonna worry about it? I don't know. I mean, I, I got the flight plan through SimBrief, so hmm, let's see. Yeah, it's not letting me set that up, so that that does seem strange. No secondary page that I can, actually plug in the landing performance. I mean, it's probably me. Like, I don't know what I'm missing, but whatever. So about an hour to go, give or take 15 minutes, I should be, coming close to the airport or something. So I wonder if I was supposed to set the arrival information before we took off. The performance, I mean. I'm not going to worry about it too much. If we have to, we can finagle the plane, to acceptable parameters with the extended approach to 25 left. Yeah. Flight plan, though. we have 4 waypoints before we approach the arrival, the Debbie 1 Bravo. By the time we get to the first waypoint on the arrival, we're going to need to be at flight plan 240. So, considering we're at 38,000 feet, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, about 28, 30, 30,000. Is 30 nautical miles enough to lose 14,000 feet? Probably. If I don't see if I don't see a down arrow for us to begin our descent, I'll probably begin losing altitude around the Ernest waypoint, which is not that far away from where actually? I don't know. What country am I looking at? Let me see the map. Oh, well, we'd be in Germany at that point. Okay, done. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially feet dry. We have now crossed into Italy. Italy. And it is super cloudy, so I'm not expecting to see any ground, but earphone warning, I'm going to go out and see if I can see Venice. Can't see much. But that is the coast. Okay, now let's take another look at the flight plan. No, no, I don't. I actually don't see a down arrow. So right around here is probably where I'll begin to plan my descent. So if the initial um, altitude for the arrival is going to be 24,000 feet and we're at 38,000, we need to lose 14,000 feet. If it was 15,000, we'd want to be about 50 nautical miles out. And let me see. Again, that was like 30 some odd nautical miles out. So somewhere between Conan and Airness is where I'm going to be descending. Probably right around the midway point. And to simplify things, I'm probably going to just do a straight descent and not really worry too much. Because minimum safe altitude during the entire time is probably not going to be more than 5 or 6,000 feet. And yeah, that's it. We'll be way past the Alps at that point. So by the time we get close enough to Ernest to start thinking about descent, I can probably just take it all the way down at that point. That's fine. That will take care of my concerns with planning the descent and all that stuff. I'm cool. Sandwich for dinner, some tea, maybe some cereal afterwards, and then maybe some scenery to have way later after I've iced the brain. um, Again, thanks to everybody that stopped in today and is hanging out in chat. Appreciate all of you and sincerely hope that you're having a good day today. Today is, I believe, Thursday, the 23rd of October. It's hard to imagine that we're almost through another month and well on the way to what I call the what my wife and I call the Burr months. We're in the Burr months now: September, October, November, December. I like how the air gets crisper and the colors change on the trees. I've been out more than a few times now and gotten to enjoy that part of the season. So I'm happy about that. Drink some water. I'm back. Trying to keep my brain hydrated. I think one of the things that I push myself to do is just to do stuff like whether it's work or anything else that I do. I tend to not hydrate as reliably when I'm out of routine. So drinking water, even drinking tea when I'm not in my usual mode, which is working 5 days a week, it it catches you off guard. It catches me off guard because I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. It's just a normal part of like my day, almost like a subconscious mental reminder. So when I'm not doing that, I'm not drinking as much. A habit I want to make sure I stop doing. So let's see. Next waypoint is Madu in about 17 nautical miles. Two more waypoints, and then I'm probably going to start descending because I don't see the point on the map where I should descend. I'm going to keep it looking like this, see if the arrow actually shows up here. It might. Little bumpy. I'm going to go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign back on to auto. And how are we looking upstairs? Looking good. I don't know if there's a problem with the plane because again, I really think I should be able to see the approach phase. I guess once I get to the approach phase page, I will see about setting all those properties up. It's okay. Not going to worry about that too much. A little bit bumpy, got some wing flex going on. Not a bad view. Think about some prior long hauls I did. You might find this difficult to believe, but there was a time when I was doing long haul flights in FSX and in X-Plane 11, I think. I did long haul flights from Philadelphia to Keflavik in Iceland. I did Keflavik to Oslo and Oslo to Berlin. I think then I stopped doing long haul flights for a while. And then when I got X-Plane 11 and I got my first sim rig, I did some other long haul flights, mostly domestic flights in the States. And then I went overseas because I was downloading Ortho and installing it. And I kind of like broke my brain with a 6.5 hour long haul from Boston to San Diego against the wind in a cargo 747. And I got done with that, and my brain was just like, okay, dude, take a break. Nice, nice. I know it's been more than a little bit since you flight sim, so I I hope it really gets enjoyable once once you get your equipment back, once you get set up again. Flight simming is something that I do, but I also like doing other stuff like trucking, retro gaming. I I grew up not having an Amiga and seeing the arcade conversions for the Amiga get so close to what the arcade actually was like. It just made me understand what the difference was between converting an arcade title to the Amiga and converting an arcade game to the DOS PCs of the time. Such a huge difference in technology. But what happened was in the mid 90s, the Amiga got passed up by the growing power and versatility of Windows PCs, DOS PCs, Windows PCs. And basically, by the time I got to like Windows 95, 98, we were making leaps and bounds of strides. 3D accelerator cards, 2D, 3D cards, 3D sounds, playing DVDs without needing a DVD decoder anymore because our processors were powerful enough to handle that. We did all that stuff. Um, and it makes me a little bit sad in a way because I remember being being of the age where you could go to an arcade and play arcade games, the games that you used to put a lot of money into. Back when I thought about arcades, like, okay, how much money can I bring, and how many quarters am I going to have? And you would play like like racing games, or like shoot 'em ups, or platformers, and games like Time Crisis or whatever. And depends on when you played arcade games. If you did, the games that we play these days are different. And one of the reasons why they're different is because we've changed the way we've changed the scene in terms of games. Like, you don't go to a building anymore to play games on screens in an air conditioned or heated place. You can play online with your friends. You don't have to go anywhere. And the games that are released, you don't go to the arcade to play them and then they get converted to a console. You just play them. So the mechanics and the focus of playing those games are different. It's not about a high score. It's not about how far you can get on one quarter anymore. It's like, can I play the game? Can I see what it is that I wanted to actually see? I I get your point. I get your point. I I never really I didn't spend time I didn't spend an extremely long period of time in college dorms. So I didn't actually do much LAN gaming, but people played LAN games with each other, in dorm halls. I still remember that part of my life. And I remember the MSN gaming zone. There was a time when I played what's the phrase? I played a DOS game multiplayer with other people, and I actually enjoyed it. If I wasn't into flight sim, I would probably at this point have either downsized to like a smaller computer or done something where I could take a cube or a really small computer with me everywhere. Kind of like a Raspberry Pi, but more powerful. Like the Minis Forum PCs, those like tiny PCs that can still play stuff like Cyberpunk 2077 really well. And like get together with friends and like play games. Yeah, yeah. Like something like that. And just like play, just like, shoot the breeze and have a great time. Like the scene is different now. You can still get together with people online and play, but the the personableness is different now. It's not what it used to be. Like this isn't it's a different time now. So basically this concept of going over to a friend's house and playing console games or even playing PC games together is different. I'd like to see a renaissance of the old style of gaming again, as a means of rediscovering what it is that actually makes playing games like that really cool. But I understand if it doesn't happen, or at least I understand why it won't happen if it doesn't happen, because the new way people play is what they know. It's their arcade. These, the new wave is not knowing that you used to have to go to a building to play arcade games or play games. Like I want to start playing old games again to kind of like redevelop some gaming muscles and get good at getting good and challenge myself to do different. But I don't know if I'm ever going to buy myself another console because like I said, I sold, did I? Oh, yeah, I only have my Xbox 360 and 3DS XL. Everything else I have, everything else I had, I sold for bills. And I don't I don't miss them. The 360, if I can get the drive fixed, I will. Um, or if I can somehow hack the connection so that I can connect to other networks and download titles that way and get a bigger drive, I'll do that. But I'm not in a hurry to buy old console systems anymore. I'm not. Um, if I do get them, great. If not, I'm not gonna worry. But maybe a conversation I'll continue on the Discord at some point. Speaking of which, I think my friend just arrived. Very nice. Very nice. I'll handle that announcement or that new arrival after tonight's flight. Oh, Ace Combat 6. I I think I have that. So I might actually have to play it if I actually get to the point where I can stick the disc inside the system and play it because my drive's not working. Not that it's not mechanically working, but I think I might have to either dust it or otherwise get it replaced. And even doing that's difficult. So we'll see. All right, 1 hour 48-minute block time means means about an hour or less before we arrive. So at this point, I can literally start getting ready to descend. Oh wow, the disc is rotting. Okay, okay, so DRM check. I wonder if anybody actually winds up hacking the OS for the Xbox 360 and sets up a new marketplace for people to actually create and exchange homebrew titles. I know if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna have to figure out how to actually get my drive replaced because I've had it for a while. I have had it for a while. So pretty good tired. The OS has been hacked but can't connect to an official network. Okay. I have um, a few titles that I'd like to play, but depends on whether or not the actual drive will work anymore, or if maybe it was just the disk that I was using. I think I tried a few disks though, and it didn't work. So I might try that again tomorrow or at some point in the near future. We are inbound Ernest, and do we have a top of drop anywhere? No, I don't see one. Let me check. Nope. Okay, that's fine. How long is this leg? This leg is 60 nautical miles. So 60 plus 30 is 90. So about halfway through, I'll probably begin my descent and do a managed descent to 5,000 because we have about 160 nautical miles before we get set up for our arrival. I don't know if I have it, but I used to have a CD that had a brush on it to clean this to clean the sensor on like the CD-ROM drive of an old computer I had. I also have compressed air, so I'm debating whether or not I want to use compressed air on the drive inside my 360. I mean, I'll probably try that before I ever find a disc with a brush on it, but I'll give it a shot, see if it fixes the problem. Because I would not mind playing some OG Xbox 360 stuff. I still have Import Tuner Challenge, and I have some old Genesis games. It'd be cool to play that actually. I I'm not able to get to I'm not able to figure out how to actually crack the thing open, and I don't want to break the case, like perma break it. So we'll see. It's not something I'm going to worry about. I'm going to try a few things, see if I can actually open it normally. I'll probably watch some dude that actually, disassembles it, and that'll give me all that I need to do to actually crack it open and see everything. So I'm not worried about it, and it gives me something different to do. So I'm good. I'm good. Whether or not I do scenery depth tonight, I don't care about that. I just want to make sure that I'm, you know, enjoying. plastic clips initially and then screws, which is most likely the same approach, maybe different placement, but same approach. You're not going to radically change the way you put screws on a system unless you're either radically changing the design of your console or you're trying to deter people from being able to fix it themselves. I'm not worried about it at this point. Like, I've got nothing to lose because it's not reading discs right now anyway. So if it breaks, if I run into a problem where I can't use it, I can't use it. So I'm not worried about it. The best way I can say it is I have the gumption and the catalyst for starting to mess around with it again. So that is going to make me feel good, especially if I can figure out how to get the disc spinning again. Also, my wife is Tinkerbell. If anybody's going to fix anything around the house, it's going to be her. She's amazing. She legit got her parents' 8-track player working again. Her her patience and her ability to actually suss out how systems work is incredible. She is amazing. Like, okay, so about 20, 30. Yeah, yeah. I think I can probably start descending now. Now, how far away am I? Now we're 120 nautical miles away. So 5,000, about 32, 32, 36 would be about 130. 39, which you're close to. So yeah, I'm gonna go manage mode now, and we're gonna begin our descent. And I'm gonna pay attention because if it's anything more than like 2,000 or 3,000 feet per minute, I'm gonna take over. The goal at this point is probably to descend around 2,000 feet per minute. So let's go. Are we descending at all? Hmm. Okay, seatbelt signs on. We're managed, so what's up? Oh, wait, hold on. Is something wrong? No, there's no descent arrow, so I'm gonna be going manual. So here we go. Manage descent, and we're gonna go about 2,000 feet per minute starting now. So 2,000 feet per minute. In 5 minutes, that'd be 10,000 feet. In 10 minutes, that'd be 20,000 feet. And actually, what's interesting is it's overriding my decision. Ooh, magnetic tape. Interesting. I set it up for 2,000 feet per minute, but now it's going 700. 40 nautical miles, 700 feet per minute. 40 nautical miles, roughly 5 minutes. So 3,500 feet. I'm not going to be at flight level 240. That's slow. Are we managed? Let's see. Altitude selector managed. I'm curious, but it does look like we're actually getting prepped to descend. Oh, you know what? I must not have been paying attention to the airspeed because it was slowing down. Okay. I think I'm back to manage mode. I think. And now we're descending faster. If we get to the downwind turn and we're like, 8 or 9,000 feet up, that's fine. I don't care. We're gonna have plenty of room to get ready for our descent. Even if we're 12,000 feet, this last leg here is like 10 to 20 nautical miles, so it's okay. We are chasing that sun down, but I think we're gonna get to Frankfurt in time. The sky will be gold, but it won't be sunset. At least I don't think it will be. Sorry about that. It's amazing how loud those engines are, though. Okay, so auto brake is medium. Do we have ground spoilers armed? We do. We never actually disarmed them. Okay, check destination data. Kinda wish I could. You're not letting me, bruh. But whatever, I guess. Bear with me, folks. BRB. Hello, everyone. I am back. Just took a phone call. Somebody checking in on me. And how are we right now? We're about 80 nautical miles from the turn, and we are at flight level 270. It's tempting for me to continue and say no, but I'm going to let the plane do what it's doing. 1,200 feet per minute at a little over 300 knots. So 300 knots is a calculation. I think you either multiply ground speed by 5 or altitude by 5. Ground speed by 5, that would be what, 1,500 feet? Knots? Miles? I just know the old school way. When I want to lose altitude, I multiply my airspeed by 5 for descent rate, and I basically divide my altitude to lose by 300 to figure out where it was I wanted to begin the descent. So we already basically figured out the descent. We're on our way down. We're a little bit above profile, but again, I'm not on VATSIM, so I don't necessarily care about that. And we can keep extending the center line, figuratively speaking, to get set for our final approach. So we're not horrible. It's not like we're flying over Frankfurt at 40,000 feet. We're on our way down. We should be good. We should be good. Thanks again to everybody that tuned in today and spent time with us here. Appreciate your company. It is a blessing to have you with me. Got a little bit of turby turb. Not much. I don't know if we have any traffic in the vicinity. I don't think we would at this time, but I have traffic turned on, do I not? System 1. Let's go TCAS Auto. We have altitude reporting on. Let's see all. No, I don't see any traffic. I mean, it is 160 nautical miles out. Yeah, no. I mean, we are above profile, that's for sure. Oh, not that much actually. We'll be within profile by the time we get to Boeck. Good. Good, good, good. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, Sarcastic DK coming through with 2 Raiders. Hello, welcome in. Welcome to the stream. I'm in Flight Sim 2024. Today we are flying to Frankfurt. We are taking the Builds Airbus A320neo. We've been flying now for about an hour and 50 minutes, about 2 hours. Welcome on in. Thanks for joining. And appreciate the follow. Welcome aboard. Hello. Good to see ya. We are coming in. Looks like we've got loads of cloud cover. But welcome in to the new folks coming in. I am a flight sim enthusiast and scenery developer. I also play other games as well on stream, including American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator. Every once in a great while, I'll do a little bit of retro, but not reliably. I do stream typically once a week, unless circumstances permit. Like today, I'm off from work, so I hopped on and decided to fly a plane. We are on our way down to Frankfurt International. We're going to be landing 25 left and then taxiing for a little bit to the terminal. This is real weather. It's not real time though. I'm pretty sure it's dark over there, but we'll see if we can beat if we can get a nice sunset, or at least a nice deep afternoon arrival. Pretty good day for a flight. Hopefully not a terrible day for a flight with weather, but I'll double check the weather information for Frankfurt now. So winds are 220 at 14 knots. Broken clouds at 3,700. So the clouds are broken, but it's not crazy bad. All right. Enjoy your rest. Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate the raid. Have a great one. Take care. God bless you. Okay, so we are, as the phrase goes, almost there, but we're not there yet. 40 nautical miles, roughly 45 from the turn. We're about 20,000 feet, and we're going to be high, I think, on profile. So we should be somewhere around 18 to 16,000 feet. Flight level 110, I'm assuming that's going to be the transition. And then, wow, why are we flying at 200 knots? Is that really a restriction on the arrival? No, I don't see any airspeed restrictions. We kicked on the approach mode really early for some incredibly strange reason. Or it could be due to the fact that we have to get to, I don't know, 10,000, 9,000. By the time we actually get set up for the approach, we have to go slow. It feels so weird. Like flight level 180 and I'm going 200 knots. That's odd. Okay, folks, final break for me. I'm going to get up, use my legs, and then come back and we will get this bird down to the ground at Frankfurt. Sit tight, BRB. All right, folks, I am back, and it looks like we've got a master caution light. Let me go ahead and double check and see what's up. Oh, it might have just been a temporary unable to descend fast thing. Show me recall. Nothing on recall? Okay. Okay. Oh, it's fuel. Fuel, there we go. We're doing fuel transfer from the outer tanks. That's fine. That's fine. How much fuel do we have left? Okay, 2,900 kilograms. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. And we are going to be coming into Spessa about 2,000 feet above profile. It's fine. I. He's like, what's a kilogram? It's 1,000 grams, my friend. 100 decagrams, 10 centigrams, 1 kilogram. Okay, coming into the clouds, and we are getting ready to arrive in Frankfurt. And apparently, oh, temporarily, one of my cats sat in the chair, so I stood on my feet for a while. This is good. This is good. All right, 12,000 feet, 200 knots. Can we make 4,000 if we go direct TF626? Honestly, no traffic, and I'm starting to get some strong get there-itis. So let me do this. I'm gonna go direct to, what was it? Oh, well, I guess in one of those waypoints, 1,000 graham crackers. I don't think I can eat 1,000 graham crackers in one sitting. Not without feeling sick. Give me a moment. So if I pick DF, if I pick DF's, what is it? Was it 262? Let me check the flight plan. Yeah, we're still a little bit higher than we need to be on profile. So it's it's almost like the plane decided prematurely it was just going to go ahead and go approach mode from like 18,000 feet. So, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to go direct to Delta Foxtrot 626. Actually, you know what? I could probably go even closer. Once we get going down the back spine, we'll see whether or not we need a significant amount of time to get set for our approach. If we get to Delta Foxtrot 612 and we're like at 5,000 feet, then I'll go ahead and just slot over to the ILS. Okay, coming through the clouds. Through the clouds. Ooh. All right. Below 10,000 feet. Landing lights on. Wing lights on. Probe heats on. I'll get the APU master switch turned on, but I won't turn the APU on until we get down there. Definitely broken clouds. I'm pretty pleased right now with the sim performance. I could have high volumetric clouds, but I don't know. Like I'm not going for like ultra crazy realistic clouds in the sim. X-Plane 12 clouds seem to do a much better job of looking legit, and it's okay. I'm not a cloud snob either. These are clouds. I'm okay. If I go high and it chops off some frame rate, then getting more realistic looking clouds in here is not going to matter to me. I'm good, bruh. We are 8,300 feet. I think we're chasing profile down now, which is actually okay. Like I said, if I get to 5,000 feet or 4,000 and we're set, then I can literally slide into the ILS. I have stretched this arrival out way more, I feel, than necessary. I'm not sure if there was an issue with prematurely getting the approach down all the way from literally, again, flight level 190 or 180, but that's fine. If the plane's not complaining, I'm not gonna. We should begin our turn pretty shortly, though. Right about here. Okay, coming in. So, final approach is 4,220 knots. Again, no idea why we've been at 200 for such a long time, 200 knots. But if we even get to 5,000 by DF611, I'm going to pick DF680 and slot in. I'm happy for flights like this because they help me kind of like suss out or, see issues like this happen. If this would have happened while I would have been flying on VATSIM, that would have been my day right there. I would have been like, just, oh my goodness, this sucks. That's fine. So it was 6,000 feet transition altitude, and now we're 0,995 for the QNH. Oh yeah, 5,000 feet and we're continuing to descend? Yeah, once I get to DF611, we're going to go ahead and turn left. No doubt in my mind. Rotation speed was about 140 knots, so I think I'm going to set up the speed manually for 145 or 15, probably 145 for the descent is going to work out. Okay, airspeed isn't improving. We're going to do flaps 1. And I'm going to go ahead and go direct to Delta Foxtrot 680. Go around, set for, we'll set for 5,000. That's set. Okay. Let's go ahead and deploy gear. That should get me slowing down. And Manual intervention will get this down to 170 knots and flaps 2. One 170 is fine for now. Okay, pucker time. What is the performance? 220 knots. So we're well below that. Good. Best part. Okay, so once we line up with that waypoint, I'm going to go ahead and hit the approach button. I don't have any replay software queued up, so we land, we get to the gate. That'll be that for the stream, but appreciate everybody stopping by and sticking around. And can I see the airport? Not right now. Do flaps 3. And we are 15 nautical miles out from the airport. Interesting day. Here we go. So I'll hit the approach button now. Yeah, we're coming in. We should have our speed brakes armed at this point. I don't know why they're not working. No, they are. They're armed. Speed brakes are armed, and we have flaps 3. Localizer captured. And we'll go flaps 4. Give me, let's see, 160 on the airspeed. Almost there. There's that diamond. So theoretically, I should have my speed brakes armed, but we'll see what happens. I know auto brake is medium, and again, I'm going to be going for probably the first or second high-speed taxi. Probably the second. So Mike 17 to Lima 14 to Lima to, I think that's November 5 for the main terminal area. Okay, we are captured. Let's go ahead and set up for 150. All right, let's let everything load in on its own. No more funky movements. Photogrammetry is what photogrammetry is. I don't care. I just want to get this bird on the ground. And I think I do see the airport now, just barely. Oh, look at that sky. It's a maze. Okay, airport's in sight. Okay, I'm gonna assume 145 is my ref plus 5 speed. So I'm refing 5 and sinking 6. We've got our go around altitude set for 5,000 feet.
2,500.
We are fully committed and set. Gear is down, so nose light can be for takeoff. Actually, just for taxi is fine. Flight attendant, seats for landing. Turn off lights to on. Okay, there we go. Cabin crew advised. Auto thrust speed. ECAM memo, landing no blue. We're good to go. Great performance. I'm pleased. It feels slow because we're up pretty high still. Still like 2,100 feet and dropping. Runways in sight, looking good on the glide. Winds are... we have a 34 knot headwind. Do you think it's a windy day? I think there is an excellent chance that it's a very windy day. Let's give this thing some extra juice. 147. It's still 28 knots down the nose. Can you imagine
1,000.
that being a crosswind? I think we'd have to pick a different runway. Definitely a windy day. Wow, look at that sky. So we're below 1,000. It's windy, but we're okay. Wow, look at the wind beating us around.
$400. 300. 200.
Pull up. Glide slow. Glide slow.
Did we just get like a downdraft?
Glide slow.
100.
Glide slow.
50. 40.
Glide slow.
30. 20. Retard. 10. Retard. 5. Retard. Retard.
Loady. It's okay.
Retard. Retard.
We'll deal.
Retard. 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 Retard.
There we go. Now, is there a reason why it's still complaining? I don't know. And legends say he's still floating to this day. Okay. So I guess you have to hit the autopilot disconnect button a second time? Oh, maybe it was because we had a flight director off. That could have been why. Hmm. It is entirely possible we could be having issues. But that's okay. Hang on a moment. Let me get cleaned up. Okay. Can we clear that error? We can. That's fine. Nobody's coming in. There's no traffic anyway. Okay. So, say whatever you want to about the landing. We floated, but we didn't slam it. Should have been a go around. Fortunately for me, I don't care. Okay. So, let's go ahead and hit the APU button. Welcome to Frankfurt, everybody. Block time, I think, is going to put us right around where I want to be for the arrival. It's a bespoke airport, so it's going to load a little bit more than uh, a standard airport would. So that might have explained part of my FPS loss. I mean, it didn't get horribly choppy. We did have lossless scaling turned on, but I don't know. All right, taking a look at the map real fast. We are heading towards November 5. 1, 2, 3 left turns ahead, I think. Listen, we took off from Corfu, we flew, we landed, and we didn't immediately CTD. I'm a happy boy. I don't care how badly I floated. I'm a happy boy. Issues with me handling the autopilot aside, I'm happy. I think this is my turn. Yes. All right. This is my reward. Ah, beautiful. I can shut off the taxi light at this point because I'm coming into a non-movement area. And I think we're good. I'll park up, get GSX to start unloading everybody, and we will call it. Yeah, yeah, man, I'm happy. I'm happy. Great flight today. And what's even better, I'm not coming into missing taxiways. Makes me real happy. You know what? Let's go here. I am happy, friends. All's well that floats well. and about 4 minutes off the block time for today. I'll gladly take that. Right about here. Okay, parking brake. You can go closer, which is what we're doing anyway. Stand by. There we go. Interesting. There we go. The display was memeing me. It's okay. We'll go ahead and call it. Why it doesn't want to arm the parking brake perfectly. But we're down. I'm going to go ahead and restart. Lost the scaling because I didn't want to update the display. The brake fan's already running and the APU is already available, which means we can do this. We can shut the engines down and hit the block timer. Welcome to Frankfurt, everybody. Local time is float o'clock. We have arrived. Let's get GSX to unload us and we will say our goodbyes for tonight. And I will also check and see if the GPU is available. I gotta arm the GPU from here. Ground. GPU, please. GPU's available. Yay. Okay. GPU up. Probe. APU. I never had the APU bleed on anyway. Whoopsies. Fuel supply. Fuel. Off. Doors. Are the doors opening? Doors are opening. Yay. Superb. Okay. And there we go. Folks are deboarding the plane. And we are getting unloaded. I am happy. All right. So, that's another successful turn on the world tour. From here, I believe what I'm going to do is do a future long haul to Marrakesh from Frankfurt. And then the next flight after that will probably be to the southwestern African coast, probably to Ghana, and then a flight to Brazil. So, folks are getting off the plane, and we're good. Let's make sure the other stuff's shut off. Strobe is off, beacon can come off, wing lights can come off, nav and logo lights can come off, all the downstairs lights are off. And yeah, that's it. Bye-bye. Weather system. And TCAS off. Yarp. That'll do. Wonderful. So, from a bespoke Frankfurt, thanks to everybody that tuned in. Thank you for catching my floatastic arrival into EDDF. And yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Don't know when the next stream is gonna be. Don't know if I'm gonna have a stream this weekend. Maybe. And then we'll be back to most likely a regular schedule. There are some, obviously there's some holidays coming up, in November, and then we'll see what happens. So again, thank you so much for being here. Thanks to everybody that lurked. Thanks to everybody that said hello. Thank you to Sarcastic DK again for the raid. And FS 2024 is here to stay. I think I just need to finagle better memory usage or figuring out how to make it work for me. I was using TAA instead of DLSS, so that could have explained some of the FPS hits. But I think I'm going to stay away from DLSS for a while, even if it means picking and choosing my engagements carefully, because I don't want to I don't want to sacrifice visual quality, even if it gives me a few extra frames, because it's going to be difficult for me to see my way around the cabin. With DLSS turned off, it's so much easier to see. So, stay tuned. Discord for things and for chats, and I'll catch you guys around the Twitchverse in a different stream, maybe tonight. But meanwhile, folks, a privilege to have you all with me flying, or at least chilling in business class. And like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you want the Prince of Peace, and that is Jesus Christ. Folks, have a great night. Take care. Rest well. And I, Lord willing, will see you on the next one. See ya. Night.